January 2nd, 2025. I think that's the first time I've said 2025, which is just a number. We've been around for a lot longer than that. But whatever reasons, that's with the number that we've come up with and called today. Somewhat unrealistically, but such is life. Can you be a great citizen? I don't think that's possible. I think it's too hard. I think there's too many issues to try to understand and engage in and help decide what to do. I think we can be good citizens. I'm at the university library. Kids are gone another 10 days. Microplastic-free solutions offer enhanced crop health and sustainability. I think this is an ad, actually. But microplastic. I think there's microplastic in my brain, in my heart, in my body, in your brain, in your body, in babies. Microplastics. And plastics all over the ocean. We create all this waste product that goes everywhere, and we don't really deal with that and think about it and care about it, and we bestow upon future generations all this garbage and global warming and poisons because we don't give a shit. I guess you could put it that way. We're not very good citizens. I hope we can become good citizens. We're not right now. We elected a guy that denies climate change. Most of the Republicans deny climate change, the biggest issue in the world. I don't like the word existential. I get tired of people saying it's an existential threat. Just say it's a dramatic and overwhelming words people understand. This is a threat to society and our standard of living, our quality of life, the quality of life on earth. Just talk. Nobody says existential. I never hear it during the conversations. Use words people use. It's a terrible threat to humanity and the environment. Global warming. That's all on us, and we're doing very little about it. So I don't know how you can say you're a patriot if you don't care about your country enough to deal with the biggest issue. And you could argue the biggest issue is poverty, people moving down in a standard of living while wealth is concentrating at the top. You're not going to have somebody with $400 billion like Musk. All this money is going to the few people at the top. Well, what do you think is going to happen to the rest of us? Trump liked to say he was a billionaire. Now I'm pretty sure he actually is, partly because of his social media platform going public. But if you're a working class person saying, man, I'm struggling, I can't do this and I can't do that, I'm struggling financially, I'll vote for a billionaire. Why would you do that? Why do you think a billionaire who's worked really hard to keep getting more and more money is all of a sudden going to go, I think I should help these people and not help myself so much, not be so greedy? Why do you think that's going to happen? That's not realistic. We've created a system where the rich reward themselves. Just like the first Trump administration, I'll bet this coming administration will cut taxes on the rich and their corporations that are mainly owned by the rich. The stock market is 80% of it's owned by the top 10% of America. So you're voting for rich people who will cut their own taxes, but you expect it somehow to help you. I think it's laziness more than ignorance. It's being politically lazy. Like I don't want to deal with that. I'm working hard. I'm tired when I get home. I don't want to watch football. I don't want to try to understand what economics is or tax policy or monetary policy. So you get what you vote for, man. Wealth concentrates. If we, the people, are dumb politically, because a lot of people at the top have lost their soul, have lost their humanity, and they get the fever. I guess we can all get the fever of, wow, I have $2 million. If I do this and this, I'm going to have 5 million. Or maybe you have $5 billion, and you, wow, if I do this and this, I'm going to have $10 billion. We're real selfish. We're really self-centered. I've read a lot about the Constitution, the Revolution, that era, and a lot of them understood that self-interest. They talk about we have to protect the country from self-interest. We're all self-interested. Madison would say that, or probably Hamilton, Jefferson, Washington. The idea of self-interest. We have to protect the country from individual self-interest. But we don't do that very well right now. People seem to support, a lot of people are against unions, which has went from like 35% of the workers to like 5% of private companies. You don't trust the union because they have some problems, but you trust the board of directors of the corporation who have a lot of money. Why would you trust them? So, LOST, we are lost. LOST. I hope we come back. I hope we come back to our senses and our humanity and our commitment to each other and we the people, equality. There's so much to know. Don't get arrogant. What is this? Seed World. At first I thought it said it was Speed World. But some of this, it talks a little bit about Ukraine being a agricultural powerhouse. One of the reasons Russia may want to take it over. Pomological Society. I didn't know. I thought that was for pomegranates. Fruits. The study of fruits. Saltwater intrusion on the East Coast. So you have climate change and desertification, droughts, and so some of the seawater leaching into areas that before it just had fresh water, which I think makes it near impossible to grow crops on or to have your water supply. So when you do this about global warming, it's coming for you. I think this is kind of, humanity is just, seems so broad and deep. It's a beautiful picture. But our love of flowers, it's innate, I think. I don't think we learn to love flowers. I think it's part of who we are. Rail traffic, mass transit. I lived near Issaquah, Washington. It's about 20 miles east of Seattle. Oh my gosh, I'm from Arkansas, so I'm not used to this traffic going back and forth and back and forth. thousands and thousands of cars, and they have a lane. If there's more than one person in the car, oh my gosh, it's amazing how few people are in that lane. Everybody's driving by themselves. So luckily, they've started a light rail system from Seattle to Issaquah, I believe, but it'll take them 10 years to build it, or I'm not sure how long. Slow to slow to understand, slow to be good citizens with our resources and our pollution and our waste and our global warming and our need for mass transit. We're very individualistic, they say in America. I can do this and I'm going to do this. And not so much communal about, well, what about the community? What about the poor? Well, they need to work harder, even if actually you want the poor because you want cheap labor. You want cheap products. How do you get cheap products? Well, you have cheap labor, which is why a lot of even the people that demonize immigrants like to use immigrant labor because it's cheap. And that's from the beginning. That's from the indentured servants and slaves, and from the East Coast, the Irish, and from the West Coast, the Chinese making the Transcontinental Railroad. Cheap labor. We like to say that we love our neighbor, but we love cheap labor. So it's a time to grow up. There's too many bad things happening, and a lot is on our shoulders. Well, they're all on our shoulders. A lot are due to our actions and inactions. We've let things happen. We voted for bad things to happen. We voted for bad leaders. I believe there was a $30 million spent on an ad about trans lives. So people will get upset. These trans, the boy's trying to be in a girl, and all this stuff. And I'm going to vote Republican because I don't believe in that. But of course, we're not talking about global warming, the biggest threat, inequality, one of the biggest threats, concentrated wealth, which goes with inequality, which goes with destroying democracy, which goes with Musk spending $280 million on the election. What kind of a democracy is it when one person can spend almost $300 million to push ads, vote this way, vote this way, vote this way? The Supreme Court decided that. 5-4, I think. It's Republicans. Republican Supreme Court justices. Money is free speech. The 4 Democrats said, no, this is not, there's a lot of things we need to do in this country, including rein in the power of money in elections. But the Republican Supreme Court justice said, no, that's okay. Money is free speech. So you watch your TV or your internet, you see all these ads that make you stupid, make you, what's it called, grooming. That's what happens. Who's grooming you? Billionaires are grooming you. You're being groomed to be an idiot, to follow the bouncing ball over here while the real shit's going down over here. You're being groomed to be a shitty citizen. Our bad. We should be wise to that. We shouldn't play the fool. We should be better citizens. We should be better people in 2025.